4-inch wall clean out to the right, a handicap stool and men's bathroom. And we're going the wrong direction. Either that, or we are going the right direction. Yeah, we are. Okay, that's neato. Oh, you can carry on.
Oh, so Paul Allen, or his sister, was causing issues at Vulcan.
Mm-hmm.
So Paul Allen sent this lawyer to go fire his sister.
Really?
Because he didn't want to do it himself.
Uh-huh.
So then when Paul Allen died and his sister ended up with everything, that Paul Allen didn't have kids. His sister went and fired the lawyer.
Oh, Lord.
Yep.
Devin, do me a solid. Flush that stool next to me. That should be this Y. That was false hope. That was what I consider an incomplete flush, sir. Okie dokie. Well, where in the hell is that still going? Oh, it's down
The ladies'
further.
bathroom.
That's
Up.
cute. There's a double Y at 3 foot. Could you do me a solid, young man?
Ladies' room?
No, hit me again. I think I found it. And I think I may have found part of the problem too. That's a no-no. Oh yeah, here we go. So, problem number 1. We have a double Y at 5 foot 7 inches.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is, you know what a double Y looks like? So you know what a regular Y looks
Yeah.
like, right? Picture another one this way
Oh,
too.
okay.
So it's like an airplane.
Right.
When that stool is flushed, the waste and the paper and the water shoot right across to the other side.
So right at
And
the
then
ladies' room on the
and
other
then
side.
they do this shit. They fight each other, and then eventually the water and the waste at some point between fighting each other will start to go the correct direction. So that's problem number 1. The way we found this out a few years ago when the manufacturers kind of redesigned the way the Ys work. So it used to be the branch arms off of the Ys were very tight and steep,
Mm-hmm.
and your water would go the correct direction every stinking time. Well, when you use the double Y, the arms are shorter, so inside there is just a big open canyon.
Right.
So when you flush, that water velocity will not carry it the direction you need it to go every single time. So it's no different than you putting a cross in.
Yeah.
You're doing absolutely no different. So that waste jumps over to the next arm. The next stool flushes, that waste jumps back over to where the first one started, and then at some point in its remote life, it will eventually start to carry. But when that happens, your waste and your water now are no longer moving equal.
Right.
So your water's going to outrun your solids every time. Now, the only way that you can fix that is, because they replumbed all this, right? Or did they just start out there?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Mike.
Okay. Well, the only way that you can correct the double Ys is you'd have to break up the floor. And this is only one problem.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this is your final culprit, but this is definitely a start. So you would basically cut that fitting out, and you would put 2 Ys in independently of each
Okay.
other. So that way, when you flush one stool, this one's going the correct direction, and they're not doing this shit.
Yeah.
They're not fighting back and forth. So I know that's a given right off the bat. That's why we quit using them a long time ago. Another great plumbing company that we do work with out of Olathe, they did a retirement home, and it's set up kind of like a wagon wheel, so they each have individual wings.
Yeah.
And every one of those fittings that were put in clogged.
Damn.
And we were out there constantly until we got out there with the camera and started figuring it out.
Yeah.
And it was just sitting there doing this every single time. So, how many stools are in here?
2 in here and 3 in the other one. And then the
I
three
tell you
here.
what, Devin, let me back this up to that double. So flush this one more time for me. That should be the one coming in on the right. No, that's the one coming in on the left. Okay. This one should be behind us. Yep, that's the one coming in behind me. So, what's the other one? Go to that women's room and hit the first stall. Actually, it'd be the middle one if there's 3 in there, Devin.
Yeah, the middle one should line up with this one.
Yeah.
Alright.
Hit that middle one and let me see if it comes the other side. Yep. So these two are fighting.
Yeah.
The two, this middle or this end stall, and then the women's middle is going to be the ones fighting each other.
Yeah. What
On
about
that
this one and the one right
This
behind
one
it?
here comes in behind us.
Oh, okay. Well,
So-
no, but the women's on the other side of this one.
This one, to my knowledge, I will double check it, but it didn't look like it was on a double Y.
Okay.
But when I come down this clean out, I'm immediately sweeping. So here it comes. And then some of this water goes like this on that double Y.
Yeah.
And then right now it's settling down, and now we're starting to flow downstream.
Hey, I'm gonna stay over there and do some damage control through that flow drain.
Yeah. So if you come over here, bud, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So this side here is this stool next to me.
Right.
When Devin flushed the middle women's stool, which is equivalent to that one behind us, it comes in on this side.
Okay.
This stool, the stool in the women's room, the handicap, you'll watch it come behind me.
Yeah.
There it goes. Now watch. See, water's going this way, water's going this way, and then water starts to settle and continue to go downstream.
Yeah.
So, if you watch, I'm going to flush this one. It's going to come in on this left side, and watch what happens. That ship shoots straight over there, brother.
Okay.
Oh, goodness. Did it come by you yet?
Yep.
Alright. Did it settle?
Yeah, it's settled.
Alright, here comes this one. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Did you see it jump across?
Yep.
And that's not even a full flush.
right.
That was an incomplete flush here.
And that thing does that all the time. Which is why we end up with a crap ton of toilet paper in the bowl of that one all the time.
So that one comes in on this side, shoots immediately over into the women's middle stall. Stool. Okay. This is probably gonna be your floor drain, or
Nope.
nope.
The floor drains between
Yeah,
them.
urinal.
Yeah.
Could you flush one for me over there? Let me
Yep.
see if it drops down.
Urinal number 1.
Yes, sir. And I bet you they might have tied them all on one run. That's not uncommon.
Okay.
Hit the second one. Oh yeah, there it goes.
And then the third
And the third one.
one, which is a really doesn't like to flush. Doesn't flush like the other two.
Okay. So that accounts for that fitting. And this one, I'm gonna guess,
That's probably
that's gonna be
number 3.
the last one, or what would be the first one,
Yeah, when you walk in the door.
and then see how big that cavity is.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it's just the way some of these newer fittings are made. that, don't you? Son of a bitch, they did put a fucking 90 under that floor. They sure did.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a big no-no. Now, what they could have done was not put the watt or the 90 in, and they could have put a combo on its side,
Yeah.
and then the back side of that Y they would have brought up for a floor clean out. Make sense?
Yeah, but
So that way you
there's
don't.
nothing poking up from the floor.
That way you don't. Well, they didn't because they used a 90.
Yeah.
They didn't even use 245s to break them. So
Right.
when that water goes through, it's like hitting this wall, and then it turns.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is actual footage. I zeroed that camera once we were
Oh, okay.
laying horizontal under
Right.
the floor. So it's not counting any of this or that vertical drop.
Right.
And like I said, we opened at 55-ish. And there's another 90. Okay, so,
Comes out there, takes a 90 to the
yeah,
left.
and then
takes a-
90, and this is the
Is
90 to
that
the
one going
right.
to the right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So that's going to the right.
that's
to
a
go
90 to
in
the
front
right.
of where the hand wash is.
Yes, sir, that's a 90 to the right.
Yep. And there's probably another 90 to the left. Well, I know in electrical you don't want to put three 90s that close together because they're full wire.
In plumbing, you're not allowed 90s under the floor, laying on their sides. You can only do them from vertical going to
horizontal.
horizontal.
Yeah. Okay, so that right there is probably.
So there's two 90s right there.
Yep.
Okay, so in conjunction with the double Y, so that double Y, when you flushed behind this stool, that was the one coming in on the right.
So there.
So there,
Two. Well, it's just,
well, there's
just that one.
the one right here.
Oh,
That one's
off?
independent.
Oh, oh.
That one's accounted for. This is gonna be on a 45.
Okay, so that's where now is
Okay,
starting to
so
go
here's
towards the
another
west.
problem. Now, you ready for this one?
Yep.
So, I'm just the
You're just the
stupid,
messenger.
I'm just the stupid guy. So now we're heading this way. We now have a Y that's basically, kinda, doing this number,
Yep.
okay? So now, instead of, making the turn with a 45, and then once you make that turn, cut another Y in to pick up this side,
Mm-hmm.
instead of doing this. So you can see what's going on.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Water's just sitting there.
Well, it's going like two different directions, brother.
Yeah.
Because of the way they put that Y in. If they would have cut it in on a 45, cut the next Y in downstream of that fitting, they
Yeah.
could have came out with a street 45 off that Y and then picked up this side right here. So now what happens? Trying to not piss this toilet off. So try to get a little bit better of a shot at it.
I got my hand across the sensor.
So this here is your direction of flow, okay?
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Y on the upstream side.
That's coming.
Okay.
I think that's probably coming from the.
I haven't.
From the break room. We
Oh,
have a sink,
okay,
and I
okay.
think we have a dishwasher in
So
there.
now what's going to happen too? Look at my distance. What did I tell you that
52
fucker opened
foot.
at?
Yep. 50. You said about 55.
Give or take, but there's no cable counters on the
Yeah,
machines. All I can
right.
do is shoot from the hook. And so now, when you flush anything in these two bathrooms heading downstream, this is my outlet.
Yep.
That shit is building up right here, brother. Hitting right here, and then it's building up, building up, building up.
Yep.
That's gotta come out, dude. That's gotta come out.
This is all going on the thumb drive? Or
Yeah,
is that
and our
what you're doing?
voices.
Okay.
So hopefully nobody's like, how should I say, yeah, that. So, instead of this going like this and then turning on the 45, or, you know, if it was a goofy angle, say like 222s, whatever the case may be, I would have cut this line in further down
Yeah.
from this. So that way when all these toilets are coming, it hits that 45 and goes the correct direction of flow, and you're not hitting this split right here. Does that make sense?
It does.
So now, you've got to try to get that shit to ramp. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now look at this. You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
You got to get that now to ramp and make that sharp ass turn. Try to bounce off of this. You're going to have some waste coming in onto the right, which would be the upstream side towards that break room.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you've got to whip that corner.
Yeah.
You know what, Devin, do me a solid. Go get that snooper. Let me find this fitting, please.
You got a rotatable head on
Yeah, I got a 512 frequency, and then I pick it up with a receiver. You can let that go, because now you're going to see it. Watch what happens to this hot mess. Let it get to us. Watch what this is going to do. It's like hitting a T. Here it comes. It's moving my camera head. Now remember, we have the double Y for these two toilets, so it's making up its mind over there too. Here it comes. Watch. Water's going that way, water's going that way.
it. Yep.
What do you think's going to happen with turds and toilet paper? That's common sense, dude.
Yeah.
You would have just cut that in on a 45, and then once you do, so we're going like this. So here's how we're going.
Yep.
We would have turned that on a 45, and at approximately 2 foot downstream from that turn, I would have cut that Y in to grab your break room.
Yeah.
That way, when these bathrooms are being used, then that can go. When did Mission Plumbing do this?
I don't know, probably about 2 years ago. I might have Mike come back out
I
here.
wonder if they'll make right on that. Because the proof's in the pudding.
Yep.
I told you right when I opened it, and I was guessing around 55.
Yep.
Well, I zeroed that camera when we were laying horizontal here, and we're 53 foot, give or take. So we're pretty much spot on. This is where that clogged.
Hey boss, you wanna come out and take a look at this camera view? No, but it's not right, and we can see why it's going bad. Okay, thanks.
Oh, dude, don't sneak up on a short white guy like that, man. All right, let's see. So there's our first left. There's our right. Here's our break room. Yep. louder than words. All this plumbing's accounted for, everything in the women's room is accounted for. This stall right here, and which would line up with the women's middle stall, behind here, it's on a double Y. So it's like one Y reversed over with another Y, it's all one fitting. When that stool's flushed, it throws waste and paper up the other stool. When that one's flushed, it throws waste and paper back up this stool, and then at some point it finds its happy medium, turns and flows the correct direction. But if they didn't saw any of this up or do anything, then that must have been original, you know, if they didn't modify any of it. That's one reason why we don't use the double Ys. We would cut into independent Ys and do it that way. It's more work, it's more of a hassle and a pain in the rear, but it works. So, this fitting right here is the one that I was locating underneath the floor out there. So we're flushing and flowing this way, okay?
Yep.
Once this happens, and I'll show you Mr. Toilet here, he may just go ahead and flush for me, but watch what's happened with this little amount of water. Water's going that way, which is your correct direction of flow, and water's also moving up that Y, which is carrying up by your brake room.
Right.
This is where it opened up. I told this gentleman that it opened up at roughly 44 or 54 to 55 foot,
Yeah.
and look where we're at, and I'm not up there yet.
So you're how far?
52,
52. Okay.
52.7. So if I get up to this, we're probably going to be like 53, 54.
So the issue came out of the break room?
No, the issue is that fitting underneath that floor that they used.
Mm.
And what it's doing is all your paper and everything is backing up right here. So instead of that Y being there, it needs to go that way, make that 45-degree turn, and then approximately 2 foot downstream of that 45, they could have cut another Y in to grab your brake room. That way, all your toilets are hitting that fitting and then flowing correctly.
Right.
Instead of fighting one way, you already have it bad enough up here as it is because of the double Ys. But now when you're down here, you're going this way and you're going this way. I'm going to be generous flusher. You got to remember we have that double Y, so it's kind of flooding both fittings there, and it's making up its mind. It'll catch up, and then now we've got to hit a hard 90, and then there we go. Now look, water's going that way, water's going that way.
So I have to tear up this concrete. Or that concrete.
Well, at least that one square, yes sir.
That's something.
Well, let me back this truck up. 3 spots. Just 'cause I'm a nice guy.
Mhm.
So that 90 needs to get out of that floor. That 90 needs to get out of that floor. That Y needs to come out of that floor. A proper turning radius installed, and then I would cut that Y in about 2 foot downstream to grab your brake room.
Okay. So right now.
Now, the funny thing is, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
That's
so
fine.
if you come back with me. So, this fitting gets sawed here, here, cut that Y or that 90 out, 145 splitting the difference, another 45 splitting that difference. Now you got a nice, you know what I mean, even flow. Take a little pipe underneath this floor, this is where your second 90's at. which one, Vance? I'm sorry. Okay. Mm-hmm. It puts air in the line. Is that hose getting jammed up? Is that hose getting tied up somehow, Vance, underneath that sink when you swivel that? Is it like really crimped up in there? And there's no atmospheric vacuum breaker that are built into those spray heads. It's got to be in that hose, Vance. It's doing something. It's got to. That's all. No. I'm talking about the hose that goes from underneath, and it, yeah. No, I'm talking about your spray hose. Oh, it's not a pull-out sprayer. Really? So, then the only other thing that I could think of would be the diverter in that single lever for that deck mount. That would be the only other thing, Vance. I mean, it could be some are actually kind of built into some of the Kohler cartridges now. Some of them you have to pull the spout body, wiggle it off, and it's kind of like the Deltas where it's a push fit, where it's a press in. The little white thing. Oh, so that one's that's what they're using as the diverter. Okay. God, man, that sucks, because there's no other way that you can do that and just tie them together and eliminate the hose to prove it. But that still don't make no sense. That's underneath the sink. And it's only doing it when it swivels left to right. Dude, that's nuts. The only thing that I could think of is if something's doing something goofy with that diverter T. Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of, dude. But that's why I don't like Kohler faucets either. So, yeah, teach his own now. Alright, brother. You bet. Later. Alright, well, that was interesting. Well, everything today's been interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
So we'll just, cause then you're in a straightaway.
That straightaway should go all the way out to the main.
It's kind of hard to push bigger pipe.
Yeah.
That double Y's hating me right now. And so is that why where it opened up at.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we're cruising. Needed that water to float the camera. There's the clean out. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, that's a Y on its back. Okay. ran it out 112. So I basically dumped everything that machine had to offer me,
Yeah.
short of coming back and adding cable. Wow, why is that holding so much water? Is that belly? You see that, Devin?
Yeah. See that flow line up there?
Alright, so now we're flowing, right?
Right.
I've got a skid on the camera. We all live in the yellow submarine. The yellow submarine. You got a belly.
Goes down and comes back up.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And your belly.
And how what was that, about 7 foot?
Alright, so we came out of the water
Okay, so we're at 114.
114. So now we'll come back. Now remember, I'm dragging water back with me.
Right.
So let me get to a standstill point.
So you're at 104.
Alright, so this is where you're going to start holding. Damn it! Hate that toilet. So 105, right?
Yeah. 107, you go underwater. That's what I thought I
So
saw.
107. And now we're out.
At 112, so 5 foot belly.
Got a little dippy dip. I don't know what that's going to do for you. I guess you'll find out at a later date. But
Yeah.
hopefully nothing. It never opened up at that spot. Well, now I don't care. You can flush all you want. Uh-oh.
Another belly.
Uh-oh.
So that was at 139.
Oh wow, that one's a good size one there, my friend. Oh yeah, buddy. Look, hey, what is that? Is that a screw?
Probably. Yeah,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not-
look
I'm
at
not
this, look at
surprised.
the little panhead screws.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's from when they're doing dismount. We had
Gotcha.
we had a time here where we ended up with a bunch in a urinal.
Screws?
Yeah.
We get some screws in there?
About 150 feet out.
When you guys want this?
What's that?
My email. For
Oh,
the video
oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Devin, hold on to that.
Yes.
So
Thanks, Devin.
you have a belly that lasts for 5 foot. Now we're completely underwater. This is a big belly. We're
Where the
151
pipe goes
feet
down
out.
and comes back up.
See, and it's already collected. Look at the toilet paper in there. See it?
Yep.
That's what happens, and it eventually,
That's at 153 foot, so
Yes,
that's
sir.
on the way towards the front door there.
and then it does like a weird dog leg turn.
That's not sure where that's at.
I don't know. It did almost like a change of elevation.
Heading towards the main.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
But Johnson County doesn't allow PVC outside. You can only use SDR or ABS.
It's got to show the inside.
Can we pull that one out?
Yeah, right now I'm at 160.5.
So there's only like 108 feet that way past the,
Which you
probably the top.
Which he should be to the main now.
Yeah.
Should be super close to the main or in the main. Should be at the main. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
about a
I'm maxed.
Yeah, so you're at the main then.
I'm maxed.
But you're probably closer in, you're
No,
in the
we're
main-
at 164.5 and we're not in the city. We're not even outside yet.
Oh, you won't get outside until you're 800 and some feet away.
Yeah, big time, cause you come out at that other corner.
Yeah, it's way
Yeah.
down in that
Uh-huh.
corner. Yeah,
Yeah.
so to get to this, where this pipe is coming out to the main line in
Gotcha,
the
where-
building
yeah,
is about
you're
150
one-
feet.
Okay.
Or
That's that change
140
of
feet.
direction that I saw when we
That,
turned to
that's
go
where,
that way.
and that's where you probably saw it drop down or something,
Yeah.
maybe too.
Yep, that was the change of
It's a
elevation.
much bigger pipe too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Well, at least I believe it is. It's been a long time since I saw him cut this floor up.
I will go ahead and start pulling that back.
I
up.
left the general contractor, Don Payne, I left him a voicemail.
So.
I'll wait to hear from them, and if I don't get what I know, then I'll just be calling you back.
Two bellies in this run. We have two sags in this one. We got a short one for 5 or 6 foot, and then we got the Mama Jama one. It lasts for a bit, and it's probably holding half pipe, at least, of water. Cause you can still see, yeah, so you can see the toilet particles or the paper particles.
It's a spot where it has the poke and it goes down, but then down and comes back up.
Could be lack of gravel underneath the pipe, it's hard to say, it could have been that, almost like checking the crown on your wood before you frame a wall, you know, kinda deal. But usually with the larger pipe, it's a non-issue, so, it kinda goes back to the ground, possibly. So that, we don't have any other videos where they can take this pipe from the original groundwork completed to.
Tell them what happened at the house you were at.
Slab is intact. Underneath the slab, 7 by 2 foot, every damn drain off in that house. Even outside, less than 10-year-old house. Yeah.
Scary stuff.
So everything's open now, everything's flowing, so it's just gonna be a matter of time.
Yeah,
It's
so,
not,
could be a day, could be
yeah,
a year.
it's not if, it's when.
Yeah, it's a day or a year or.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Joe, if any of the employees are flushing, butt wipes,
You just gotta know.
clean wipes,
Oh, there's a reason why there's no paper towels in here.
my next one is injectable.
There's a lot of, but there's a lot of what causes it literally had over a roll of toilet paper wrapped around it and stuffed inside. Is what I think.
To using them as a butt gas.
Yeah,
what
I
mean?
really think that's what kinda, and then it's
Going
just like,
on.
well, like you said, this has happened before, but never there, well, never there. They've always got it, well, the one time they ever come before, it was in the main, but it was about 100 and some feet from that corner way down.
So this building was brand new 2 years
Yes.
ago?
And what they found is what they filled the first time that we called it was some kind of construction debris in there. Is what they think it was. I don't know. But they got it out pretty, I mean, it went fast. I mean, they were able to find it, got it out. But this is the first time this bathroom was 2 years, at least.
Well,
I'm not
because
saying
I
here.
don't know why, I'll have to have my reduction dig. I can swore I've been here when the main backed up and it was a damn ballpoint pen and it was sitting sideways outside.
You might have been here with me then. But
I
thought-
swear
but I
I've
thought-
been here
But I
before.
thought I used Anthony's heat for, the mission guys came to fix it the last time. Because it was still under the 1-year warranty, so they came and
Gotcha.
fixed it. Because the water actually came all the way to
If
the
it's
north.
not, then there's another building out here that's
Oh.
almost set up identical to yours.
Yeah, probably.
But it was a damn fattening pen